we're a club that I'd like to think is on the up. We might not go up, obviously, every single year, but over a period of the next few years, I'd like to see us get promoted.
We're doing okay, but could do better, and in my opinion, need to do better if we're going to sustain a position at the top end of the league.
The challenge is taking players with you because you might outgrow them, it's possible. So when we find a young player that we think actually could play a few levels above, there's a really nice sort of mirror trajectory that they could have along with the club.
Last summer we spoke to #United as they were about to start their second full league season in the 9th tier of English football. Time to catch up with them as they push for what would be a second consecutive promotion.
Yeah, life in the Essex Senior League has been, I'd say, so far so good, really. We actually lost our first game, which was the worst possible start. But since then, we've won every single game, which is great. Which is 6 games in a row now, so we're hoping to make that 7 tonight.
I think our results probably are better than our performances have been. So, on one hand, that's a concern because you can only get away with that for so long. But on the other hand, it's encouraging because I know we're nowhere near our best yet. And we're still managing to win games.
The season started off pretty badly, not just because of a loss, but also because of injuries. We lost our player of the year and our goalkeeper, Jacko, to a broken leg. He's going to be out for a long time. And we lost our captain and manager's player of the year, Jack Harrison, to an ACL injury, which is ruling him out for the season. Pretty much the 2 worst players for us to lose, to be honest. Not just because of how good they are, but also the experience they bring and the fact that they've been with us since the beginning. They're originals, and we haven't got a lot of originals left. So Ryan Adams has been flying that flag strong. He's just played his 100th game for the club on the weekend, which is crazy to think that someone's played 100 games already because we've only been around a couple of years.
The amount of players we've lost because of injury, that's given us quite a bit to contend with as well. So if we balance those things up, then I've got to be happy with the start, but looking for improvement still, I think, really.
Yeah, we brought in some new faces for different reasons. Some were forced due to injuries. We brought in the experienced player called Luke Wilson, who's come from a couple of levels above at centre-back, and he's added a little bit of quality there because our defence was looking really young at the start of the year, which is also a good thing, to be honest, because our defence was quite experienced, I'll say, last year, and that served us very well, but obviously you've got to plan for the future. And we got some young kids in, particularly from a series we did called the Academy. We didn't just sign the winner, Josh Asude, but we signed, I think we've had 7 people from that series make an appearance for us in either pre-season or the season proper. So lots of new youth players come in and adding a little bit of an energy to the squad. And yeah, new striker George Smith is top goal scorer at the moment, 7 goals already.
There's probably been more changes to the side than I would have liked, forced changes. And looking to protect some players who are not fully fit as well means that you make decisions that disrupt the flow of the side. So that has an impact on fitness levels sometimes because players are not playing back-to-back games and building up that match fitness, but also the disruption. So it's around set pieces, for example, people coming in and doing different jobs. We have had to tweak with our formations a few times this year, so it's adjusting to that as well. But this year we've played a 3-5-2, we've played a 4-4-2, obviously the 4-2-3-1 as well. So it's good to be able to change formations and systems, but with that it does need an understanding as well. And we've got away with it a couple of times, but not necessarily been as comfortable as I would like with that change. So that's something that we need to develop as a club, really, I think.
One of the biggest surprises was the way that Lee Hurst started the season, who was very popular with the fans last year because he scored a lot of long ranges, didn't get a lot of game time because he had this long-term hip issue, groin issue, that was causing him some problems, and we had to kind of manage that. But then we found out he was going to have an operation in October. He's actually had this operation now, so we were able to kind of go like a little bit more relaxed on precautions with him because we knew his operation was coming. So he played a lot more, and he was scoring so many goals, great goals. He got Player of the Month and Goal of the Month for August.
The fact that his form was so good, knowing he had this condition that we were trying to manage as well, was really impressive. we've got the likes of Jesse Waller-Lasson, who's just a recent signing, and he's hit the ground running and he's scoring goals, creating goals, and had a real big impact on us.
And also 2 new lads we signed from another YouTube team actually called Rebel. Jesse Waller-Lasson. Jesse has scored 4 goals in his opening 6 games. He's just got Player of the Month and Goal of the Month for September. Very exciting player. And he's played up front with Harry Kane in Tottenham's academy. And Sam Biles, also ex-Arsenal and England schoolboys, has come in really, really strong as well. He plays centre mid tonight. So keep developing these players, giving them more game time, and hopefully, yeah, they can grow as players, and we can also grow with them.
For us, really, we just need more time on the training ground around our shape and the roles and responsibilities, things that are expected of the players, that we expect of the players, so they know what's expected of them. And that's difficult when you're most weeks only training once a week, because obviously we've got midweek games as well at the front end of the season. So it will take a little longer than it would maybe, if you had the luxury of working with the players every day. But it's no different to any other team in our level. It's just that's where I feel we're at the moment, where we need to kind of just improve our game understanding, game management.
We've had 2 new keepers because we've been forced to, due to injury, Jacko being out, give Tim Pittman and Cav Clark a chance. Both come through the Academy series. They've both done really well. Been impressed with them both. So and Cav's only 18 years old as well, which is very young for a goalkeeper. So yeah, been impressed with those boys. George Smith, the striker, we knew what he was about. He scored 30-odd goals in the league we came out of last season for another team, and we've brought him in, and he started strongly too. I think in terms of development, obviously we want to stay at the top end of the table where we are at the moment. We're going to tonight's game in 3rd position with a couple of games in hand, hoping to go higher. But also development of players is really important. Jack Martin's a young left back who's already played more time than he thought he was going to, because another long-term injury we've had is Tom Williams, our veteran left back who's played Championship football. He's had a significant arm injury, which has ruled him out for a number of months. So Jack's come in, just turned 18 now, and he's had loads of football and he's had some really good games. So I want to see people like Jack getting more opportunities to learn their craft, because these are players that, because we're a club that I'd like to think is on the up. We might not go up obviously every single year, but over a period of the next few years, I'd like to see us get promoted. The challenge is taking players with you, because you might outgrow them. It's possible. So when we find a young player that we think actually could play a few levels above, there's a really nice sort of mirror trajectory that they could have along with the club. So there's a few players that are kind of jumping out, and Jack's one of them.
I tend to, as a manager, be more about the collective anyway. So we're doing okay, but could do better, and in my opinion need to do better if we're going to sustain a position at the top end of the league.
Thanks to #United for taking the time to speak to us. Links to their channel are in the description below. Hit like if you want to see more videos like this on Squawka.